Hi everyone, welcome to the Ecosystem Innovation video series. Today we're going to be talking about strategic procurement, specifically around procurement performance management. As a solution, SAP, we have a fantastic strategic sourcing suite that covers the basis. We've got a new UX with the guided sourcing process that really takes users through the RFI, RFX process and the e-auctions process. Again, for both indirect materials, direct materials, so the whole thing. And that's great. And there are lots of sourcing solutions. But when you think about it from a buyer perspective, they need visibility of more than that. Or from a CPO's perspective, you know, they go into their buyers and asking for particular information because naturally they've given them KPIs. And the reality is that a lot of buyers tend to build an Excel-based reporting tool where they can track all of their projects, the project management. What are they going to be on the hook for this year? Which projects are they going to run? What are the benefits that come out of them? So what is the starting position? What is the end position? And how is this then reportable? And the CPOs want to see that because naturally they've got to do the same reporting going up. And that bit's not as easy as we think. And with the analyst community today really talking about best of breed versus suite, that's where is the whole reason for this video series. The reality is that little areas that are really important can often be overlooked, but then they're built by a niche solution provider. In this case, my friends at Per Angusta have built a fantastic procurement performance app that's fully integrated into SAP Ariba. So, and that's where I think best of breed and suite come together in a utopian world for me. And it's, again, why I started this video series. Before I introduce you to the team, do please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment as well. I think that's really important for us because we're only a small channel, but we're trying to do more. And the more feedback we get, the more content we can give you. So let's go to the team. Let me introduce you to Maurice and Richard. Hi guys, how you guys doing?
Hi Mo.
Good morning, Mo.
Thanks guys for joining. So why don't we jump into it? Richard, why don't you tell us a little bit around the challenges that you're seeing in the market today and why you went down this road?
Yeah, thanks Mo, and it's really great to be able to have the opportunity to talk about this and talk about how Per Angusta and SAP Ariba can work together so effectively. So, as you quite rightly pointed out, there's some brilliant technology that covers S to P out in the marketplace. However, procurement performance management has remained an area that hasn't necessarily been covered fully, and that's where Per Angusta comes in. So, yeah, picture the scene. I'm a buyer coming into the office when we used to go into offices, or going into my home office, and I want to know what's going on with all my projects. Where are they at? What's the situation? And am I going to hit my target this year? Or maybe you're a CPO. You're coming into work, and you want to know exactly the same thing, but also you want to get that understanding of which buyers are moving really well with projects. Where are we behind the curve? Where are we going to end up this year? What do I need to do with my stakeholders? Where are they at on this? And also in terms of the numbers I'm going to report to my CFO. The CFO just wants to know some really simple, straightforward things. What's the number? How accurate is it? And how up to date is it? And that's where Per Angusta comes in as a buyer-centric solution. So, you know, in our experience and our research, we found that 30 to 70% of savings opportunities do not involve an RFQ or an auction. And you know, so if you're looking at, say, demand management or specification improvement, you're not necessarily going through that structured source to contract process, but you are going through a project process with defined steps where you want to deliver a saving. So what Per Angusta seeks to do is, as well as capturing all the RFQ stuff, because we don't ignore what's going on in things like Ariba, capture that and capture all the other stuff. So you've got a view of 100% of the savings, bang up to date, that you can see as a procurement person, and that your stakeholders, wherever they are in HR, IT, finance, can see equally well. Some of the challenges we've had to face up to: first thing, systems don't always talk to each other very well. We're going to come on and talk about how Per Angusta integrates with Ariba, but systems don't always talk to each other. Stakeholders can be slow to approve savings or move things to the next stage, and that takes time to communicate, especially in multinational complex environments. So as a result, the savings process slows down and the numbers don't come in as quickly.
The reporting is much more difficult that way, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. So it's that classic thing. Your CPO comes in the morning, the CFO's sent them an email, can I have an update in 2 days' time? And you start off this horrible chain of emails going all over the place. Can I have the EMEA numbers, the ASPAC numbers, the North America numbers? And then there's questions, and then you pull them all together, and then you tell them what the answer is. It's a world of pain for some buyers. And in our experience, most organizations are using Excel. And, you know, Excel is kind of the challenges that, you know, people are familiar with it. So that there's a little resistance sometimes to moving on. But Excel doesn't talk to other systems. It's inflexible and it can be prone to errors. So, you know, things like copying formulas. You know, part of our solution is not only about doing the big picture reporting, it's about making the user's experience better.
Right.
And having an environment where you can find out these different things.
Excel is super powerful, but it's not user friendly, is it? It doesn't make it.
Yeah, so we talk about Per Angusta being a solution for buyers developed by buyers, and most of us in the organization come from a procurement background, and that's what you see. You know, we're tuned into that environment and understanding what's the real world experience of buyers and how can our technology help.
Great.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Cool. So if we're talking about the actual solution and what you've built, you know, Maurice, why don't we look at that? Because I think that you're going to be able to show us the tool itself. So maybe give us some background and then we can get into that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to show you it as a reality. I mean, the way the solution presents itself. But I just wanted first to come back on the history of our connection with SAP. In a few words, we've been involved with SAP since last year, and we actually run the SAP IO program at Q4 2020, which was a good opportunity for us not only to start enriching our contacts with you guys and with the organization, but also developing the connections, the integration with your solution and the SAP environment. So that's where really, essentially, we came up with a solution that is really fully integrated with SAP, with the SAP environment. Let me go through quickly the solution, if you can see it now. The solution presents itself essentially as a simple, visible, and user-friendly solution. So you have here, for example, the dashboard of a buyer. Let's say, Maurice, I'm a buyer. I have my targets. I need to develop my project along the year. I need to measure my performance in terms of cost avoidance as well as in terms of P&L impact. I have my alerts. I have the key programs that I have to follow, and I have my coming up tasks. So something very practical, essentially aimed at facilitating the day-to-day life of the buyer and enabling him or her to save time, of course. The core of the solution is what we call the pipeline. So this is really where you have your projects, where you have your programs being developed and being followed and monitored. This is where really you invite also your internal end users, your customers, your stakeholders to have really a collaborative approach of each of those projects. And you can see here, for example, with this project that there has been an event run on Ariba that is part of the project. So just to show that it's fully integrated, and the actual end results will be coming out of the Ariba tender or the Ariba RFQ, for example, and it will be directly measured and tracked in Per Angusta.
So Maurice, just a question, if you don't mind. If you go back to that screen, when you have when you're creating those projects, you're creating your project pipeline in Per Angusta, correct? So you create, whether it's as a buyer, all of your projects are created in here, and then you kick that off from here, integrated into the SAP Ariba sourcing solution, correct?
You're right, that's essential. That's really what shows the real connection and the value that we provide all together. So Per Angusta with SAP Ariba. When you create your project, you can decide to launch an event on Ariba if you want to, or you can simply run a project without launching an RFQ. But this is really fully integrated so that you launch your elements in your data into Ariba, and you get back after the event, you get back all the results directly from Ariba, and this is measured and tracked in Per Angusta. So that ultimately, you have a reporting that shows this potentially in terms of procurement performance, as well as in terms of financial performance. You have all the elements, and what we are developing right now is what we call non-financial performance. So we are more and more tracking for our customers elements like CSR, like carbon equivalent,
right,
like water equivalent, etc. All of those elements are coming more and more into scope as we develop the solution for a number of customers.
Great.
Ultimately, what I want to say is that the solution, the combined solution with SAP Ariba is proving its value not only for customers, but also obviously for SAP. For customers, what we can now measure is the fact that we bring time savings up to 50 hours per year. So that's really something significant. We also increase the performance, procurement performance, that is made visible to everyone, to C-level, to finance, as well as to internal customers and stakeholders. And finally, the ROI that is measured by our customers is in less than a year for 90% of our customers. So all of that combined together with SAP shows how well the combination of Per Angusta with SAP is helping customers to develop a digitization program with quick return on investment and quick visibility for all of the participants, as well as a business value for SAP to enlarge their existing scope to their existing customers.
And how is this done from a you know, if we look at the overall landscape, and maybe Richard, we can talk about that piece, you know, and thanks Maurice for doing that, because I think that clearly shows very simply how a buyer can see everything all in one place. And I love the fact that you control it in one area, you don't jump away from one user experience to another, it's integrated through. And that's, again, in today's day and age, that's even more important than it's ever been. But just looking at it in terms of, you know, making it real for a prospect or a customer who may be having these challenges today, and they're looking at how they're going to fix it. Can you just talk about the flow and how that would work in a, you know, whether it's part of an implementation, or if Per Angusta were coming in, you know, to an existing customer? What steps do you go through? What does that whole piece look like?
So just to kick this contribution off, and then perhaps Maurice, if you want to add to any comments I make, you know, for me, we find that with customers and potential customers, there can be a real range of positions that they're coming from. I typically look for 5 indicators, and usually customers have 2 of them, but never 5. They're looking for something that's better, faster, safer, cheaper, or easier. And so, you know, for us, bringing a solution that A, captures everything, like, you know, if they're looking for the safer thing, they're saying we don't have an audit trail of what's gone on, we can't dig into that Excel, then, you know, that audit trail is very important. Equally, if they have problems in terms of getting approvals from different stakeholders in different parts of the business, we'd highlight those aspects of the tool. But in terms of, you know, how we would then work with SAP, you know, we'd absolutely work with you and your colleagues to say, right, where does this fit? Where are the technologies going to complement each other? How many users? You know, all the sort of practicalities of things that we're looking at. And in terms of onboarding, it's a simple onboarding process. So we've got clients, we've got customers where we've got 10 users, we've got customers where we've got 1,000 active users, and the onboarding is weeks rather than months. So that ease of process, we've got a very clear process for doing that as well. Maurice, I don't know if there's anything you would add.
The key thing is really to make it practical for SAP people. We have 3 typical models that we are currently following, and we have corresponding references, customer references already.
Yeah.
First, there are combined customers between SAP and Per Angusta, and this is where we're looking for further integration, just to anchor the customers on both sides, and it's proving a lot to add value to both sides. Then we have SAP customers, whereby Per Angusta is adding value to help the digital transformation for those customers and to reinforce the positioning of SAP. And finally, we have potential new customers for both sides, where we can bring up a consolidated value offer that is making sense, because quick and immediate value, it's a matter of weeks, just mentioned by Richard, so that the ROI is much easier, much quicker for the customers.
So in the end, we're talking about having a solution that's really buyer-centric, that puts everything all in one place. It's quick to adopt, quick to implement, doesn't take long for it to get together. The UX is easy enough for there not to be a lot of change management in that respect, because that's another aspect that you've got to be wary of. And it's integrated to SAP. So I think we get that piece. In addition, I think you guys are already on the App Store. So if you're looking for the solution, you can just go directly to the App Store and go via that direction. Or of course, you can just come directly to the team. And you guys have also, you're running sessions all the time, doing deeper dive demos. I know there's one coming up soon for the UK, and you've got some other, I know Maurice, on the continent as well. So we should link to that. I think we'll do that in the description of the video so that people have an idea of that as well. But I wanted to finish up on, where do you think that this is going to go when we look at the challenges that we have in procurement today and everything that Per Angusta do? And we haven't really touched on that, because you do a lot more than just this. Where are you seeing this going? And what other challenges that are you seeing in the market, and where do you think that you guys can help companies that are struggling with any of these aspects?
So perhaps if I jump in first and give a very quick answer, for me, turning the sort of order qualifiers and order winners on its head, if you're a buyer, delivering your savings and delivering your financial performance is becoming more like an order qualifier.
Yeah.
And then the question is, what are the order winners? What's going to make me absolutely outstanding as a procurement person? So it is about starting to measure some of those other aspects that have a numerical value attached to them. So whether it's CO2 emissions or some other aspect, or anything where you're saying we need to measure this in terms of our supply chain because it adds value for our business. It has a number attached to it. We can do projects that will improve that number and improve that performance. So it's all those sorts of areas.
Yeah.
The challenge, I think, is that those things are moving at different paces in different parts of the world. So if I give you an example, if you go to the US right now, there's a massive focus on supplier diversity. So as Per Angusta, upfront in our projects, clients are saying, can we have a supplier diversity indicator in advance of the RFQ? Because, yes, we're measuring what percentage of our spend is with diverse suppliers. We want to know upstream, are we driving the right behaviors? Now, that will differ by sector, by geography, by politics, you name it. So that's the thing. I think we've got the flexibility to deal with it. So that's how I see it. Maurice, what are your thoughts?
Well, you said it all, Richard. The key mission that we have as a solution made by buyers for buyers is really to be as close as possible to the expectations of this function. And it's evolving a lot. The crisis we're in, the new elements that buyers have to tackle, all of that has to be included into our reflection and our roadmap. And that's what we are busy doing day after day. We have intense connections with our customers community and with the buyers community. And this is what really we are able to show, where we are able to show our flexibility, our capacity really to not anticipate, but at least be as close as possible to the new requirements of the buyers.
It's great. Thanks a lot, guys. That was a nice, neat video. Really covered the basis for us. And, you know, for the community, please do comment below. Let us know what you think. If you've got any questions around it, I'll have the contact details of the team. And of course, you can come to me anyway. And as I said before, if you want to know more, there's more videos on YouTube that Per Angusta have got around the solution. And it's on the SAP store as well. So thanks, gentlemen, once again. Really appreciate your time, and looking forward to doing more videos, because we're going to come back and do some more around some thought leadership with the team, because I love what you guys are doing. So thanks again, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Mo. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.